Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. In today's video I have a Q&A for you. So I asked on a couple of videos back if people had any questions that they'd like me to answer, and I also asked on my community tab page as well if anyone had any questions. So I had quite a few of the questions come through, so I am going to make a video out of it today. So I'm going to answer everyone's questions. If I am looking off to the left, it's because my laptop's there with all the questions. I'm not going to be able to remember every single one. I will leave a sort of screenshot here where you can see the question that is asked, and yeah, I'm just going to get straight into it because I have quite a few questions to answer. So the first question is, how tall am I? I am 5'6". I will leave the sort of centimetre equivalent here. I think it's 162 or 167, one of those. Question 2 is, what do I do for a living? I am a test engineer, so I'm like I think another word for it is quality assurance. So I work for a massive US company who is in a lot of sectors. So they do automotive, they do wireless, they do microcontrollers and things like that, and I work for them. And I'm in the wireless business unit, so I work a lot on Wi-Fi products that go into sort of end products for customers that we work with, basically. Initially, when I started about, I think it's 11 years ago now, I started with the company, I was testing wireless mice. So I work with software engineers, so their software goes into the wireless products to control the Wi-Fi chip and things like that, and I had to test that all that software worked correctly and did the functions that it needed to on the product that we had. So I was testing wireless mice, I was testing keyboards, I was testing gaming controllers. So I was working with Astro on gaming controllers. We did a lot of work for Turtle Beach, the Turtle Beach headsets for like Xbox and PS4 and things like that. I don't know whether it's PS5 now. I don't think we're doing any work with them at the moment. So yeah, a lot of like wireless products. More so recently, I have been working on systems that automate that process. So rather than testing everything manually and having everything sort of take up our time, I work on systems that automate the process for us so that we don't have to sort of sit there and click buttons and things like that. So I work a lot on that. I do a lot of Python coding, C programming, things like that. My next question is one that made me laugh when I saw it. I'm going to tie this in with another question, and it is, the first question is, tell me about your cats. The second question is, which one is your favourite? So I have two cats. You probably have seen them at some point in some of my videos. I have Kia, who is the female cat, and Oreo, who is the male. Kia is 9 and Oreo is 3, so there's like a 6-year difference. Kia we got from a neighbour who, her cat had 3 kittens, and Kia was sort of the runt of the litter, but I had been wanting a cat for quite a while, and she'd sort of offered, or she was asking whether we knew anyone that wanted a kitten, and obviously I did, so I ended up snatching her right up. She's been my sort of first baby. We got Oreo 3 years ago. We had been looking or thinking about looking for a second cat to sort of give Kia a bit of company, and fate sort of aligned me and Philip with Oreo because he was found abandoned by Philip's mum while she was out, and she sort of nursed him back to health as such. He was like flea ridden and full of worms and things like that, and she'd sort of nursed him back to health and she gave him us for Christmas. So he was sort of our Christmas present that year. Things haven't gone as smooth sailing as we hoped with Kia, like introducing her to Oreo and things like that. I think Kia has just sort of become really independent over the last sort of few years that we moved out of his mum's house. She initially did live with 3 other boy cats and she was fine with them, so we thought that another cat would have been fine, but yeah, it hasn't been a smooth sailing as we hoped. They have very, very different personalities. Oreo is quite playful and affectionate, and Kia isn't. She's very independent and she's very sassy, so she'll have like fusses on her own terms, but then if she's sort of fed up and she doesn't want strokes anymore, she will sort of bite you and scratch you. So yeah, whereas Oreo is much more gentle, he's much more loving, and he is very playful, so he will sort of chase Kia around and we'll hear them in a different room and she'll be going nuts and growling and hissing. So they don't sort of fight, they're not vicious, but she does sort of tell him off every so often. So yeah, they are the two cats, and I couldn't possibly choose between the two of them. I can't pick a favourite, there's just no way. So yeah, that is that question. My next question is, if you could only do running or lifting from now on, which one would you pick? I had to think about this question before, whilst I was looking at the questions that I had, and it's a tough choice actually, because running and strength training gives me very different benefits. Obviously lifting allows me to see how strong I am, and it's been really empowering since I started weightlifting, but running also has great benefits. It's great for stress relief. If I've had a stressful day, I can run it out and I'll be absolutely fine. So if I had to pick one that I was going to do going forward and I had to drop the other, it would probably be running. I've been doing it longer, I know more about it, and I feel like I get more benefits out of running than I do strength training. So yeah, that would be running. Next question. Have you ever tried giving up sugary snacks for a week? No, I haven't, is the simple answer to that. I am very much a sweet tooth. I would say I have something sweet, chocolate or a sweet or something, at least once a day. So no, I've never sort of considered giving it up. Maybe I will have a challenge to give up sort of extra sweet treats in the new year. I'll do a video on it. I will drop all sorts of sweet treats for a week in January and see how it goes, but so far I haven't given it up. Next question. How do you recover from a cheat day / binging? Good question. I try to avoid having cheat days or binging days. I try to avoid binging at all costs. I try to notice the signs in advance if something is coming up. I try to plan most of my sort of days and weeks so that I don't come across a sort of unplanned cheat day / binge. I usually know what sort of days I'm going to be over. If I don't know and it just sort of creeps up in me and I have like a binge day, I don't really do anything special as regards to sort of getting over it. I just sort of get back to normal. I don't see the point in restricting calories in the days after it's happened. I just sort of get back into normal routine, get back into tracking calories and being the same calories as I usually have. I don't drop my calories on the sort of days after. I just get back to normal. There's sort of no point in restricting yourself further or punishing yourself for having a binge day. I just sort of move on. So I don't really have any sort of major advice on that. That's just what I do. Next question. What's the best fitness tech you've bought? Most useful or most used? Did have another good think about this question. I think most used, I would say, is my watch. I have a Garmin Fenix 5S. I've had it for quite a few years now. I don't know how many years I've had it, but it's definitely my most used piece of kit. I obviously track all of my activity on it, all my running, strength training, things like that on it. Tracks my steps, my sleep, and gives me loads of data on my health and things like that. So definitely my sort of most used product. I wear it every day, so yeah, most used. If I'm talking about things I've bought recently that have been sort of the best tech that I've bought, I'd probably say my treadmill. I have mentioned that on a sort of video recently, and the treadmill has been like the best investment that I've made in a good long while. It has helped me get back to 5k distance again, as you would have seen in my running update. So yeah, it's a really nifty bit of kit, and it just helps to be able to jump on it when I don't feel like going outside. So I would say that that's sort of my most recent best purchase. Next question. Are you still skipping? No, I'm not. I did a video a while ago which was skipping every day for 7 days, and that expanded into skipping every day for a month. That did actually kill me as a challenge, and I have or had a goal at the end of last year to skip more frequently and be able to skip for long periods of time without having to stop and take breaks. And I just wanted to sort of add in skipping as a more regular thing and be able to skip properly and do some nifty tricks and things like that, and it just hasn't gone to plan this year really. I'm obviously not going to make any sort of strides with that in the next 2 weeks before the end of the year. So yeah, skipping hasn't gone as well as I'd hoped, and I haven't skipped in months, I don't think, other than maybe like 5 minutes before I do any sort of gym session. So yeah, not great on that front. Hopefully I will pick it up again in the new year. So my next question is, how do I stay motivated? Honestly, a lot of the time I am not motivated, and I just sort of have to get on with it, and I have things in place to sort of help me get that motivation back. Motivation is a fickle friend and it comes and goes quite often, so you sort of have to have measurements in place to be able to push past when you don't have motivation. So the first thing I do obviously is listen to my body. If there is a reason why my body is telling me that it's not motivated to do something, that is first and foremost the most important thing. So it may be that my body is craving extra rest if I've been doing a lot of activities, if I've been doing a lot of running and gym sessions, and then one day I'm just not motivated. That might be sort of my body's way of telling me that I need to take a break. I set some small goals for the week or the month with regards to what I want to achieve, whether that, like I do in my pits and peaks and my sort of monthly check-ins and things like that, I set a small goal in mind of the amount of sessions that I want to do in a week or a month, so that tends to help. Things like training plans, they help as well. So obviously I've got a race coming in the new year, so training plans do really help, and you sort of don't want to go into events and things like that untrained. So I think having a set plan in place and what you want to do for like the day or the week is really helpful. So they're the sort of things that help me stay motivated or help me get back on track. And also, I think one of the main important things is to remember your why. Look back on your why you're doing the things you're doing. And yeah, like I said, motivation comes and goes. So you need to have a firm why on what you want to achieve, why you want to achieve it. And yeah, hopefully that will sort of help bring it back or encourage you to do it even when you're not feeling it. So that's my sort of best advice on that. My next question is, what has been the most successful results when dieting in the past? I did my weight loss series or weight loss story so far video. So when this question was asked, it was probably not, well, it definitely wasn't at the time that I did this video. So you can obviously check out that video if you sort of want a longer version. But basically my best sort of dieting / weight loss results were the last time that I lost weight. Basically, I am doing this journey second time round. The first time I lost 120 pounds, so I went from 258 to 135. So I'd lost about about 120 pounds, or 8 stone something. I'll leave a sort of picture transformation here. But yeah, I highly recommend, if you're a new viewer or you haven't seen that video yet, definitely check that out, because I talk about sort of early stages of my life up until now with regards to weight loss. So hopefully some of you find that interesting. Next question, what has been the hardest part of your journey so far and how have you overcome it? I would probably say that the hardest part of my journey has been regaining weight that I lost the first time round from weight loss. Like I mentioned in my previous question, I previously lost 120 pounds in weight and gained a lot of that back. So the hardest part, I suppose, wasn't gaining weight, because I guess in reality that was quite easy to do if you're not sort of staying in control and being mindful. But the hardest part was accepting that that's what happened and trying not to feel guilty about it, trying not to feel shame over losing weight. And yeah, how I've overcome it is basically just accepting that that's what happened, and yeah, just getting back on track and doing the best I can of the situation that I have. and I would say just being accountable for my actions and what I've done, and not punishing myself in any way, but just making sure that I get back on track and sort of move forward the right way, and knowing that I will get back to where I was previously. And yeah. Next question is, have you any plans for running in the long term, such as races / long distances? I've touched on this on my channel when I did my running update. I have a race next year. It's a 7-mile race. So sort of, I guess short term is that I will be doing that race. More long term is that I do want to get back into long distances. I want to be able to do half marathons again. So sort of going forward, I'm going to be sort of building up my distance in order to get back to half marathons. Hopefully at some point do a half marathon race so I can try and get under 2 hours. I have mentioned on my channel as well that eventually I do want to do a marathon, and I want it to be London, because I'm not that much of a fan of long distance running. I hate long distance running, really. I don't think my body is cut out for it. I don't think I'm cut out for sort of long distance, but I do want to sort of tick it off my bucket list, if you will. So I do want to do a marathon one day, and I want it to be London. So it's been I think my 8th year of entering the London Marathon. So we'll see what happens with the ballot in the new year. I'm not doing the charity places just because I think it's a ridiculous amount of money that you have to raise for it. And if you don't do it, I feel that not a lot of people are charitable at the moment, so it's very hard and a lot of pressure to have sort of raising the charity place money. So yeah, I won't be going down that route. So it will basically just be keep on entering the ballot until I get into London. So I suppose long term it will be that I want to be able to do a marathon, but anything further than that, like ultra marathons, I really couldn't give one about that. But yeah, I do want to get back into races and things like that, so they're sort of more, I guess, long-term goals. But half marathon is definitely like on the cards for next year or the year after. Next question is, why did I start my channel? For a very similar reason why I started my blog, and that was to document my own weight loss journey and yeah, just my journey in general on my blog and my YouTube channel. I wanted a way to be able to look back on my progress in video format, with the added bonus that if I could just help one person who may have been struggling on their own journey, then that was great. And yeah, at the moment it's like a hobby that I do in my spare time. Obviously it would be nice at some point if I could sort of quit my job and become a full-time YouTuber, but I don't think that's realistic. But yeah, I enjoy sort of documenting the process. I enjoy interacting with people that watch my channel. And like I said, if I can help just one person, which I hope that I have, then yeah, I'm doing it right. So yeah, that's the reason why I started, is basically just to sort of document and be able to look back on my own progress. Next, so my next question is, if you could have an all expenses paid trip, where would you go? Ooh, good one. I have 2 places in mind, but if it's an all expenses paid trip, then I would probably say like a road trip around America. So going to see like New York, going to LA, going to Disneyland, places like that, Grand Canyon, and doing hikes and things like that. I think that would be really good. I have never been to America before, so it would be sort of a first time trip as well. So yeah, it would probably be road tripping around America and seeing all the different sites and things like that. For anyone that is interested, my other sort of trip would be the Maldives. It looks absolutely beautiful out there, and I've heard, I don't know whether it's rumour or not, that obviously with rising sea levels and things like that, the Maldives will disappear at some point, so it would be nice to go there while it's still available to go there, sort of thing. So that would have been my other choice. Next question, what is your favourite movie? Honestly, I can't think of what my favourite movie is. I am a film buff. I love watching movies. I sort of have them on in the background while I'm working, and I just listen to audio and things like that. I put movies on at night and it can be the same one over and over, but sometimes I fall asleep. But I would say, instead of picking my favourite movie as such, I will pick a favourite sort of genre of movie. And that would be sort of disaster movies like end of the world movies, 2012, like Volcano, Dante's Peak, zombie apocalypse movies and things like that. So that is sort of my favourite genre of movie. Last two questions. So I've got, do you save clothes as you shrink out of them? This is a good question. When I first lost weight, I did not save clothes, and I really regret not saving at least one piece of clothing, just to sort of be able to remind myself of how I was then versus how I was now, and how those clothes fit differently. I sort of see on Instagram and things like that where people literally stand in their old pieces of clothing and they can fit in like one leg of their trousers and things like that. I think that would have been really cool, but I didn't keep any clothing. Honestly, the sort of thought process behind that was that if I kept a piece of clothing, that would be sort of clinging onto my old life as such, and I didn't want to have any sort of reminders of what was. And obviously now I've regained weight, so my thought process has changed. So since I've got up to sort of my highest weight, well, not my highest weight, but since I've got up to where I am and I've started to sort of shift my mindset again to get back down a second time, I am going to keep a sort of pair of trousers or something like that from the sort of top end of my weight this time round, so that I've got something to look back on when I get all the weight off again. So yeah, I do really regret not keeping a pair of trousers, but I will this time round. My last question, and I guess sort of Christmas related, so ties in with Vlogmas, it is, what's your favourite holiday tradition? I am not massively into Christmas. I don't care about it too much. I think that it was more important as a child, but not so much as an adult. I decorate the Christmas tree and things like that. I don't go all out with like lights on the house, but I guess a tradition that we've been continuing since I guess we got Kia and since I sort of became a crazy cat lady is that I buy a cat Christmas ornament for the tree every year. And I can buy multiple each year if I find them, but usually it's at least one cat ornament every year that we put on the tree. The idea being that over several years, I will start to replace these sort of generic little circular baubles that we have on the tree, and the whole tree will just become cat ornaments. Probably sounds mad, but if you're sort of like a crazy cat lady like me, you'll probably understand. So yeah, I think that's my only real proper tradition, is that we have a tree and we buy a new ornament for it every year, and it's usually cat related. So I think that's it for questions. So I hope I haven't missed anyone's questions out. If anyone has any other questions going forward, leave them on any of my videos and I'll sort of collate them all over time. If people are watching the video now and they want to leave another question, if they're interested in anything, like I said, it doesn't have to be fitness or health or weight loss related, anything like that. It can literally just be anything. Just keep questions PG, obviously. But yeah, if anyone has any questions, then leave them down in the comments. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed my answers. Some of them were a little boring. But if there's any sort of questions that I touched on that you maybe want me to expand into like a further video, obviously I know I touched on sort of binge eating and motivation and things like that. If you'd like to see a video on that, then let me know. But otherwise, I'm going to wrap up the video here. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. You can always click the notification bell down below and you'll be notified of when my videos go live. Other than that, I hope you're all staying safe and well. I hope you all have a good week, weekend, whenever it is that you're watching this, and I will see you again in my next video. Bye.